The film opens on a stormy night. A fishing boat cuts through the dark, violent ocean, rocking as waves crash against its sides. Inside the cabin, a group of fishermen sit around a table, playing cards as the storm rages outside. One of them stands up and steps out onto the deck to toss scraps overboard. As he leans over the railing, he freezes. Floating in the water not far from the boat is a body. He shouts for the others, and within moments the fishermen rush out. Working together, they struggle against the wind and waves and finally manage to haul the unconscious man aboard. At first, he seems dead. But then, one of the fishermen notices his hand move. They rush him inside and immediately call for the ship's doctor. The doctor arrives carrying his tools and gets to work. He takes a scalpel and carefully slices open the man's wet suit, pulling it away. 2 bullet wounds are visible in the man's back. The doctor removes the bullets and notices another injury near the man's hip. Curious, he cuts into it and discovers something embedded under the skin, a small metal device. He cleans it and examines it closely. Engraved onto it is an account number for a bank in Zurich. Suddenly, the man jerks awake. In an instant, he attacks the doctor, overpowering him before anyone can react. Confused and frantic, the man demands to know what's happening to him. The doctor calms him down and introduces himself as John Carlo. He tries to question the man about the strange device inside his body, but the man reveals something shocking. He doesn't remember his name. He doesn't remember anything. Pain begins to surge through his body. John Carlo urges him to rest, but the man grows weaker and suddenly collapses. John Carlo brings him back to his own place to recover. Meanwhile, at CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, Agent Daniel Zorn enters Alexander Conklin's office. He informs him that it has been confirmed. The mission has failed. Conklin says nothing. He stares down at a photograph of a luxury yacht sitting on his desk, his face tense and upset. Back on the fishing boat, the man still injured helps the fishermen with small tasks as he slowly regains his strength. He spends his time trying to figure out who he is. He runs through different physical exercises, tests his reflexes, and tries to connect with the people around him, hoping something will trigger his memory. 2 weeks later, John Carlo speaks with him again. The man admits that although he still can't remember his past, he has discovered strange skills. He knows how to tie complicated knots, speak multiple languages, and perform other things as if they're second nature. But his identity remains a complete mystery. John Carlo tells him they will reach the coast in 1 more day and encourages him to rest, believing his memory will return. The man reacts with frustration. He's angry because he doesn't have time to wait. The next day, the fishing boat docks in Wanglia. Before he leaves, John Carlo gives him enough money to travel to Switzerland. The man thanks him sincerely, then boards a train to Zurich. When he arrives, he has no idea where to go. With no destination and no answers, he spends the night sleeping on a bench. Late that night, 2 police officers approach him and ask for identification. He has none and he can't even explain who he is. They attempt to arrest him, but instinct takes over. In seconds, he disarms both officers and knocks them unconscious with shocking ease. Even he seems disturbed by how naturally it comes to him. He runs, fleeing into the night, leaving behind both his orange jacket and one of the officers' guns. At CIA headquarters, a group of officials watch footage of Nekona Wambosi, speaking to reporters. Wambosi claims someone tried to assassinate him. A CIA official explains that the video was recorded in Paris 2 days earlier. Wambosi is a serious problem because he is writing a book exposing the agency, one that will reveal the names of those involved in his assassination attempt. Wambosi is publicly accusing the CIA of responsibility. He also demands that they restore him to power within 6 months. The official adds that the director wants to know whether anyone within the CIA was involved in the assassination attempt. After the meeting, Deputy Director Ward Abbott leaves the room and finds Alexander Conklin. Abbott reminds him of their discussions about Treadstone and asks directly whether Conklin had anything to do with the attempt on Wambosi's life. Conklin denies it, but admits they lost contact with their assassin and have been searching for him for the past 2 weeks. The next morning in Switzerland, the man enters a bank and approaches the counter. He asks the woman working there to access an account and gives her the Zurich account number engraved on the device found inside his body. He is escorted to a high-security vault. At the entrance, a guard instructs him to scan his handprint into a machine. After the verification, a man brings him a safe deposit box. He opens it and finds a passport. The name reads, Jason Bourne. There is also a home address in Paris. Bourne stares at it, stunned. Then he lifts the top layer of the box and discovers several more passports, all containing his photograph but with different names. Inside the box are also large amounts of cash in different currencies, and a gun. Bourne transfers everything into a red bag, leaving the gun behind. He returns the box to the man and prepares to leave. Before stepping out, he asks how long it has been since he last accessed the account. The man tells him 3 weeks. As Bourne exits the building, a man inside watches him closely. Once Bourne disappears, the man picks up a phone and makes a call. Bourne walks to a phone booth and calls the number connected to the Paris address. A recorded voicemail message plays, and he hears his own voice. He immediately hangs up. Crossing the street carefully, he avoids nearby police officers. A woman watches him from a distance, but Bourne ignores her. As he walks along a snow-covered road, he notices 2 police officers following him from across the street. He makes his way to the U.S. Embassy and joins the line outside. When the Swiss police attempt to follow, the guard at the entrance stops them. Inside, Bourne sees a young American woman, Marie Helen Ackroyts, at the counter trying to get a visa. She appears distressed. She explains she has lost her documents and money. Bourne senses people staring at him. Feeling exposed, he decides to leave. But as he moves toward the exit, Swiss and American authorities suddenly try to arrest him. Bourne fights back fiercely, taking a gun from one of the officers and sprinting away. Police chase him, but he escapes by diving out through a window. Outside, he spots Marie on his way out. He approaches her and offers her a deal. If she helps him get to Paris, he will pay her. Marie is clearly desperate for money. After hesitating, she reluctantly agrees. Inside the car, Marie tries to make conversation. She asks him what he likes, what he hates, anything that might help him remember. But he tells her the truth. He can't remember anything from even 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, the CIA intensifies its search for Bourne. They trace him to Paris and receive reports that he was seen carrying a red bag and that he assaulted 2 policemen. They review security footage from outside the consulate and spot Bourne leaving with a young woman. The agency immediately shifts attention to her. They begin digging into her background and uncover details about her life. Her father is dead. She has 1 brother and a grandmother and other personal records. Deputy Director Abbott senses something unusual about Marie. Something about her doesn't sit right with him. Bourne and Marie stop at a restaurant. Over dinner, Bourne tells her about the safety deposit box in Zurich, the one that contained a passport and large sums of money. He admits he doesn't understand what's happening to him. He explains that although he has no memory of his past, he knows too many things instinctively. Where to place guns, how to fight, how to escape danger. Marie listens, confused and uneasy. The whole situation feels wrong. After dinner, they continue their journey. Elsewhere, Alexander Conklin reassures Deputy Director Abbott that he will eliminate any evidence linking the agency to Jason Bourne. He admits Bourne is responsible for the failed assassination attempt on Wambosi and now he has become a major threat. To fix the problem, Conklin recruits 3 operatives, Castle, Mannheim, and the professor all hired to eliminate Bourne. Bourne and Marie finally arrive at the address printed on his passport. As soon as they enter the building, the female security guard recognizes him immediately. Bourne leads Marie upstairs to the apartment. Inside, he searches through the belongings and begins piecing together details about the man he used to be. Based on what he finds, he concludes that he is, or was, in the shipping business. Still looking for answers, Bourne picks up a phone and presses redial. The call connects to Hotel Regina. He speaks to the receptionist and asks about the guest, but no one is registered under that name. Then Bourne asks about the name Kane, the one connected to the passport. The receptionist informs him that John Michael Kane was killed 2 weeks ago. Bourne immediately shuts off the phone. His instincts scream at him that danger is near. He grabs a knife and heads toward the bathroom, where Marie is. But before he reaches her, an attacker bursts in. It's Castle, a CIA operative. Castle attacks Marie and then engages Bourne in a brutal hand-to-hand fight. Bourne eventually overpowers him and holds him hostage, demanding answers. While Bourne interrogates Castle, Marie searches his bag and finds something terrifying. Inside are wanted posters, featuring both her and Bourne. Marie becomes furious. She confronts Castle, demanding the truth. But before he can say more, Castle chooses to escape by leaping out the window, committing suicide rather than being captured. Bourne and Marie flee the building immediately, knowing police will arrive any moment. As they rush out, they see the female security guard lying dead outside. A crowd has already begun forming around her body. At the same time, a woman in Paris calls a CIA official and informs him about Castle's death. Bourne quickly hides the red bag, the money, and the passport inside a locker for safety. He tells Marie she should leave him. He explains that he needs to figure out who he is and why people are trying to kill him. He urges her to go to the police and tell them everything, but Marie refuses. Instead, she chooses to stay with him. She tells him she'll help him uncover the truth. As police begin closing in, the two manage to escape and spend the night hiding. To avoid detection, Bourne cuts Marie's hair, changing her appearance. The next day, they return to Hotel Regina. Marie agrees to go inside while Bourne stays outside. Before she enters, Bourne teaches her exactly what to do, how to behave, what to say, how to avoid suspicion. Marie walks into the hotel and requests John Michael Caine's records. Meanwhile, Conklin tries to solve the Wambosi situation another way. He plants a body in the Paris morgue, hoping to convince Wambosi that Caine was the assassin and that he is now dead. But Wambosi recognizes immediately that the body is not the man who attempted to kill him. Realizing the plan has failed, Conklin sends his agent, the professor, to assassinate Wambosi in his own home. Wambosi is killed. Afterward, Conklin reports to Abbott that Bourne has now completed the mission by assassinating Wambosi and will return to the agency. Marie successfully retrieves Caine's hotel records and delivers them to Bourne. Bourne begins investigating the details and tracks down contacts connected to the earlier assassination attempt. He goes to see Caine's body at the hospital, but there is no body there. Instead, he sees paperwork showing that the name Wambosi was linked to whoever took it. Bourne and Marie rush to Wambosi's house, but when they arrive, they find him dead. At that moment, all the clues click into place. With the information in front of him, Bourne realizes the truth. He was the assassin, the one who failed. Marie is shaken. Furious and terrified, she says she doesn't want to be involved anymore. She doesn't want to live with someone like him. But Bourne promises her something. He tells her he will take her somewhere safe. Then he will disappear from her life forever. Marie reluctantly agrees. They escape the city and travel to the home of Amen, an old friend of Marie's. There, Jason makes a decision. He no longer wants to be the person he used to be. The next morning, the professor arrives to kill him. A deadly chase begins. Bourne grabs a double-barreled shotgun and fires at a propane tank, causing an explosion that distracts the professor and gives him an opening to escape. He reveals their shared connection to Operation Treadstone. The professor dies almost immediately from blood loss. For Marie's safety, Bourne sends her away with the remaining money. He then uses the professor's cell phone to redial the last number and arranges a meeting with Conklin at the pawn shop roof. Conklin travels to Paris with his men and arrives at the designated location. However, Bourne cancels the meeting and secretly places a tracking device on Conklin's vehicle, intending to locate Operation Treadstone's Paris safe house. After following the vehicle to the safe house, Bourne uses an electronic device to activate the car alarms on the street, distracting the guards. He climbs the building and enters the operations center, where Conklin and Nikki Parsons are present. Bourne confronts Conklin and throws a gun toward him. At that moment, he begins to recall details of his final mission. He remembers holding a gun to Wambosi's head aboard his private yacht, but after seeing Wambosi's children, he was unable to carry out the assassination and instead chose to leave. As Bourne attempted to escape on a speeding boat, he was shot by Wambosi and left for dead in the water. After regaining his full memory, Bourne informs Conklin that he is leaving Treadstone permanently and warns him not to pursue him. He soon realizes that Conklin has quietly triggered an alarm and that reinforcements are on the way. Bourne leaves Nikki unharmed, fights his way past several CIA agents, and escapes into the night. Meanwhile, Abbott determines that Operation Treadstone must be permanently shut down. He hires the final operative, Mannheim, to assassinate Conklin with a silenced weapon. Abbott then appears before an oversight committee, dismissively portraying Treadstone as an ineffective assassin training program. In the end, Jason finds Marie in Mykonos, where she is renting scooters to tourists, and the two are reunited.